So much energy is invested in the argument, the fight with what is unfolding in your experience. Often we think that relaxing into the now means not having any uncomfortable feelings, not experiencing the pain or the horror or the terror or the discomfort. And so there's an avoidance. There's a lack of self-honesty. There's an investment in the acrobatics of the mind. And it can be very subtle. Yeah, the mind that resists the full, raw experience of what is here, the rawness of it, the reality of it, the directness of it. So there's often a contortion around the experience. There's a maneuvering in order to feel more comfortable, in order to avoid feeling the depth of it. Very often we beg or barter with life so that we can feel better, feel more at ease or more peaceful or more spiritual or more happy. And again, this bartering can be very subtle. Relaxation is a relaxation of all those strategies. Not just when we feel like it, not just when we're in satsang, not just when we're meditating, not just when we're being spiritual, but always, in every circumstance. The unfoldment of your experience is the satsang, your inner experience of life is the satsang. Otherwise, this is a waste of time. This is just a reminder. This is just a pointer. But the real work and the real possibility is in the totality of life as you experience it, as it unfolds within you, your inner experience. Right there is the invitation. Right there is the opportunity. Not to be missed. Not to be put off. Not now, I'm having a hard time. Later, when I'm a bit calmer. Later, where I'm able to be spiritual. Later, when I can focus on relaxing into the now.
When I have time.
When I have time. When I have space. There's no space now. I'm having a hard time. No, now. Whatever is happening now is the invitation. Must not be missed. Otherwise your whole life will go by and it will be missed. And then death will come, and that's going to be tough. And it'll be missed. See you next time. Next lifetime, here we go again. No, now. That's how ruthless it is. That's how ruthless life is. She demands it now. So living in the now, or being in the now, or whatever we want to call it, these phrases that we've heard over and over again, isn't about feeling good or feeling peaceful. It It includes that. And it is that, ultimately, underneath it all. But any attempt to feel that in opposition to feeling what's actually here has already set up the argument with what is, has already set up the opposition with what is, has already set up the fight with what is, has already set up the war in you. And if there's a war in you, there is a war in the world. You are the source of war. We think it's them out there, but each of us sows the seed of war within. If there is division in you, there is division in the world. So taking responsibility for stopping the war within is the most powerful political act you can do. Stop the division. Stop dividing life between right and wrong, good and bad, what should and should not be happening. Who are you to say what should or should not be happening? Life is infinitely more intelligent. You stop the war by not giving attention to the mind's acrobatics, to the mind's maneuvers, to the mind's strategies. The mind's function is to divide, to categorize, to create a library of experiences, of knowledge, of understandings, of what is known. In its right function, it is an accurate tool, a necessary tool. In its rightful place. But because we've given the mind authority over everything, over innate intelligence, over the innate impulse of life that moves through you naturally as your nature, then minds become a crazy controller that divides everything, that imposes the law of division upon your experience of life, upon life itself. Stop giving attention to that. We give attention to it because we're badly trained. We've been trained to give attention to that. Like a badly trained dog, it's out of control. So seeing clearly where your attention is, where you're investing, where your commitment is, is the beginning of the possibility to stop. And to stop is to allow attention or awareness to rest in itself. Yeah? To allow awareness to fall back into itself. To deep relaxation. It doesn't make you more detached. It doesn't withdraw you. It doesn't retract you from the full experience of what is here. So it's not about developing the witness. Developing the witness creates a pulling away, which may be helpful at some point, or sometimes, or as the initial seeing, yeah? But it's not about removing yourself, it's about relaxing yourself. It's actually very intimate. It's a very intimate seeing of what is here. That doesn't require the mind's categorizing, compartmentalizing, dividing function. Yes, you don't see with the egoic mind, you see with the being, you see with the totality of you. Non-division is openness. Non-division is allowing yourself to be fully intimate with what appears in your inner experience. There's no resistance in that. There's no defense in that. There's no attack in that. It's actually a very vulnerable place. The part of us that wants to protect itself as an entity, we could call that ego, the egoic self. That is a huge threat. That openness is a huge threat to its very existence. So it scrambles to stand on what it knows, on what is known. And in standing on what it knows from its own experience, from past, and it's learnt what's right, what's wrong, what's good for me, what's bad for me, what I like, what I don't like, what I perceive as a threat, what I perceive as love. But none of that is real. None of that is reality. It's based on your history. It's based on conditioning. It's based on perception. And that perception is clouded by conditioning. So it's not clear seeing. But it scrambles to hold on to that in order to protect what it believes itself to be. The invitation of non-division, so it creates division between what is known and what is essentially unknown. The invitation of non-division is to relax that function by seeing that function, seeing that functioning in you as you experience life, and not adding another layer of division on that by pushing it away or saying it's wrong or having a fight or argument with that, but seeing it and being willing to open to what is unknown. You can call this surrender. It's a surrender of the attempt to hold on to what is known and to meet life from the unknown, to meet life from openness. There's an aliveness in that. It's very direct, it's very intimate. There's almost a curiosity, an openness to what is here. What is this experience? To not label the experience, to not name the experience. As soon as it's labeled or named, it's already compared to past experience. It's like being naked. It's like being innocent. And there's a freshness in that and a directness in that. And this is something we can become aware of as you notice more and more how the old conditioned way grasps onto the experience and creates some kind of fight or argument or resistance or push or pull or so oneness and non-division doesn't necessarily mean you like your experience. That's the mistake that we make. We make the equation that if we operate from oneness or non-division, then we like everything. It's loving what is here. Not liking, but loving. It's loving it because there's no judgment on it. There's no rejection of it. Love is openness. Love is the open space of deep acceptance. Yeah, it's not loving it because you want to hold on to it and possess it and cherish it. That's the other equation that we make that's erroneous with love. To love what is to deeply accept it because it is here. Whether you like it, whether it breaks your heart, whether it pierces you, whether it's however it's experienced. And as soon as we put a word on it and describe it already, that's not the experience. But to experience it prior to the naming of it. You may name it anxiety, and now you are naming it anxiety because we need to communicate, so we have to use words. But the experience, the very raw experience of it, as it's arising in you as an energetic experience, has no name, has no label. It's an energetic experience. Yeah? And it's beautiful. And it's beautiful. And of course that gets harder when it has a memory or a story wrapped around it of something that's happened before and it was painful. Then we label it as something, a depression or this or that or anger or rage, and then it becomes an entity in itself, and that's what's known. Yeah, we know that because we've compared it to something in our past experience. Yeah, and then we like it or we don't like it, and we don't want it or we do want it or whatever. But if it's experienced prior to the comparison, prior to the labeling, the naming, then it's pure energy. And energy has a depth of dimensionality to it. So it may be anxiety at this level, it may be excitement at this level, it may be bliss at this level, it may be peace at this level, it may be emptiness at this level. So when we don't label it and we don't grasp it and we just experience it in its openness and unknownness, wow, the depth of that energetic experience is very rich, and it's very immediate, and it's very sweet, and it's very empty. All of that. And we can call that love, because love includes everything. Remember, life is your satsang. There's no division between satsang and not satsang. Yeah, life is your satsang. Everything, everyone that you meet, whether it's a dog or a human or a whatever, or an alien at Costco. Everyone is your opportunity, everyone is your guru, everyone is your teacher. Because if it can't be practiced in that, then what is it being saved up for to be practiced in 7 to 9:30 on a Friday night when we have satsang? It's all saved up for that. No, I don't save it up for anything. Every interaction offers this opportunity. Yeah. Every interaction is a sacred doorway to this innocence, to this listening, to this openness. That's what listening is. It's being open to the other. Being open to the inner self, being open to the self that appears as other. The dogs, the birds, the trees, the space, the car, the road. Everything. Listen to everything. Yeah. When we meet everything in openness, like I said, I mean everything, not just another human being, not just your dog, everything. You meet everything in openness, your whole experience, as you're driving, as you're walking, as you're shopping, as you're, whatever it is you're doing or not doing, laying in bed, when you meet everything in openness, there is the oneness, there is the sacredness, there is the peace, there is the love, there is everything that you can possibly name in this way. There's no need to look for it anywhere else. There's no need to create it. There's no need to find it. It's right here in every experience. And then the experience of life itself becomes an innocent experience. There's no war in that innocence. There's no battle in it.